The traveler who crosses Bolivia's high plateau toward its chief city, La Paz, comes upon it suddenly, picturesque, bright-colored, a city in miniature. Here, 250,000 people live in a modern community, 2.5 miles above sea level. La Paz is the highest big city in the world, higher even than Lhasa in Tibet. Thin, cold air, the people of La Paz are well adjusted, although living so high does make a difference, even in people who were born to it. The paseños, as residents of La Paz call themselves, are likely to alternate between periods of nervousness and apathy. And the foreigners who come from such sea-level points as Lima or New York or Buenos Aires find that the scarcity of oxygen converts climbing a flight of stairs into a major physical effort, and walking up one of the steep streets becomes a Herculean task. No matter where one wants to go in La Paz, it always seems to be uphill going and uphill coming back. There are many strange phenomena in life at this altitude. There's so little oxygen that fires are difficult to start, so no one carries fire insurance. An automobile loses 40% of its power, and it takes 6 minutes to boil a 3-minute egg. The heart of old La Paz is in the Plaza Murillo, where it is said that the first cry of rebellion against Spanish rule arose in 1809. On the great square is the handsome cathedral, one of the largest in the world, where 12,000 people may worship together. Around this plaza are the principal government buildings, for in La Paz are the executive and legislative branches of the government. The Supreme Court, however, meets in Sucre. The Indians of this region, from the high plateau above the city and the luxuriant Yungas valleys beyond the mountains to the east, are notoriously bad city dwellers. They do, however, come into market on weekends. Then the city is alive with these strange and quiet people. They are, for the most part, of the ancient Aymara tribe. Long before the Incas, they were a powerful race. They make their headquarters in the old inns, whose courtyards become warehouses for their goods. In the market, they eat the white-hot and high-smelling picante. This may be a stew with meat, potatoes, and corn, or roast meat served alone, flavored with pepper and garlic. Here they bargain for little piles of pale green leaves, called coca, from which the drug cocaine is derived. To these people who chew it like tobacco, it is an opiate to help them to endure the bitter cold and the hard labor. But the habitual use of coca dulls the intellect, so that enlightened Bolivians are now trying to stamp out the practice. But even more characteristic of the La Paz scene than the Indians are the Cholos, people of mixed Spanish and Indian blood. They comprise about 25% of Bolivia's population. Adaptable, colorful, and intelligent, they grow daily more important in Bolivian national life. Sometimes parading on a saint's day in a cloud of confetti and incense, more often gliding along under loads that would stagger a husky North American at this altitude, they are as omnipresent as the cobblestones of the street. Their great festival of the year is Alacitas, modernized remnant of an ancient Indian custom. Here the Cholos and Indians come from many parts of Bolivia, bringing their own handicrafts to sell. But the real star of the festival is the Iqueco, a tiny plaster mannequin, a good fairy of prosperity in ancient legend. For the people believe that if they purchase at the fair miniature reproductions of things they want during the year, and if they hang them around the Iqueco, their wishes will be granted. Tiny bags of rice and coca, new shoes, wedding rings, toy horses, trucks, and gaudy new apartment houses all surround the Iqueco. Then the jolly little god and all his fine wares will stand guard in the household of his purchaser until he makes all the dreams come true, or at least until the fair of Alacitas returns next year. Alacitas brings out the Chola of La Paz in her full glory. Vain of her costume and person, she may spend a month's income on a pair of earrings, she is still a practical businesswoman, a hard-headed shopkeeper. She is an extravagantly loving mother. A Chola without a baby on her back is hardly a complete Chola. Humorous, quixotic, sharp-tongued, the Chola is unique and knows it. During the 3 days of Alacitas, troops of dancers and musicians dance down the narrow cobbled ways into the patios to play their strange tunes and to perform their gay dances. Whirling in her bright shawl and dozen petticoats, the inevitable derby set at a jaunty angle, the Chola is a gay and provocative figure, unlike any other in the world.